I did not climb the mountain for love. I came because I had no choice. The cold air cut my face as I walked up the narrow road. My bag felt heavy, but my heart felt heavier. My mother said, "You must go. We need the money." Her voice shook, but her eyes stayed hard. I said, "I will pay the debt. I will marry." She cried then, quiet tears on her old face. I wanted to run, but I kept walking. Every step felt like a deal with pain. The mountain stood tall and silent. It watched me come. When I reached the house, a man waited near the door. He said, "You are late." I said, "The road was long." He did not smile. He said, "She is inside." My chest felt tight. I nodded and went in. The room smelled of fire and soup. A woman stood near the table. She looked at me, slow and calm. She did not smile. She did not bow. She just said, "You came." I said, "I had to." Her eyes were dark and clear. They felt like cold water. I looked away. I told myself, she was just a stranger. The man said, "You will stay here now." I asked, "Where's my room?" He pointed down the hall. I took my bag and walked. The floor creaked under my boots. I heard the wind outside. It sounded angry. I sat on the bed. It was hard and cold. I said to myself, "This is my life." I heard her voice outside. She asked, "Do you want food?" I said, "No, my stomach hurt, but my pride hurt more." She said, "You must eat. The mountain is cruel." I stayed quiet. She left. I felt alone. I thought I was ready. Night came fast. The cold grew stronger. I heard her moving near the fire. She said, "Your family needs the money." I said, "I know." She said, "I did not choose this too." I laughed, short and dry. I said, "You look calm." She said, "Calm is how I survive." Her words stayed with me. I asked, "Do you hate me?" She paused. She said, "I do not know you." That answer hurt. It felt honest. I lay back and stared up. The roof was low. I felt trapped. I missed my old home. I missed hope. In the dark, I heard her breathing. Slow. Steady. I said, "This marriage will be cold." She said, "Yes." I said, "No love." She said, "Yes." I said, "No lies." She waited. She said, "I will try." That word scared me. Try meant hope. Hope meant pain. I turned my face to the wall. I said, "Sleep." She said, "Good night." Her voice was soft. Too soft. My chest felt tight again. I told myself, do not care. Care breaks men. The wind hit the walls. The fire cracked. I closed my eyes. I thought I was ready for this life. I was wrong. Morning came pale and cold. She made soup. She said, "Eat." I sat down. I said, "We will keep distance." She nodded. She said, "That is safe." I asked, "What do I call you?" She said, "My name is Lena." I said my name. It felt strange to say it here. She watched me eat. I asked, "Why did you agree?" She said, "I needed shelter." I nodded. Need made people do things. I knew that. She said, "The mountain keeps secrets." I said, "So do people." She looked away. Silence fell. After breakfast, a letter came. The man brought it. He said, "From your family." My hand shook. I opened it. My mother wrote, "Be strong. We count on you." I folded the paper. I said nothing. Lena watched me. She said, "That is heavy." I said, "Yes." She said, "You are not alone." I wanted to believe her. I stood up. I said, "We will survive." She said, "Yes." The mountain stayed silent. The deal was done. My life had changed. I felt fear. I felt anger. I felt nothing. I stepped outside. The cold bit my skin. I breathed deep. This was the start. I did not know how it would end. Lena stood behind me. She said, "The mountain tests us." I said, "I will endure." She nodded. The wind rose again. I felt small. I felt bound. I felt alive. My promise was made. I would pay the price. I would not break. I moved into the house with one bag. She stood near the door and said nothing. I said, "We should talk." She said, "Yes. Later." Silence filled the home like cold smoke. I felt the mountain watching us breathe. We shared meals without looking up. I said, "Food is good." She said, "I made extra." I asked, "Why extra?" She said, "In case you are hungry." I nodded and ate in silence again. At night the wind screamed outside. I said, "The mountain is loud." She said, "It gets angry at night." I asked, "Are you scared?" She said, "I am used to fear." Her voice stayed calm and flat. Days passed slow and heavy. I watched every move she made. I said, "You do not talk much." She said, "Talking can hurt." I said, "So can silence." She looked down and said nothing. One morning I woke up early. She was already cooking food. I said, "You wake early." She said, "Sleep does not stay." I asked why. She said, "Too many thoughts." I understood that feeling well. I kept distance like a shield. I told myself she was danger. I said, "This marriage is a deal." She said, "I know the price." I asked, "What price?" She said, "Peace for survival." Those words stayed in my head. That night I found extra bread. I said, "You save this for me." She said, "You work hard." I said, "You watch me?" She said, "I notice things." Her eyes met mine briefly. My chest felt tight and wrong. I hated that feeling inside me. I said, "Do not pity me." She said, "I never pity you." I asked, "Then why care?" She said, "Because this is home." The word home cut deep. I did not answer her. Wind shook the walls again. She moved closer to the fire. I said, "You can sit there." She said, "Thank you." Later she placed a blanket near me. I said, "I do not need help." She said, "Everyone needs help." I said, "I survive alone." She said, "So do I." We shared the silence together. That night I could not sleep. I listened to her breathing nearby. I wondered if she felt trapped too. I wondered if she watched me. I hated these thoughts in my mind. I feared caring more than cold. Another day I asked about her past. She said, "The past eats people." I said, "It already ate me." She paused and held the cup. She said, "I lost my family." I said, "I am sorry." She said, "Sorry does not change fate." I said, "It still matters." She looked surprised by that. We fixed the roof together later. I said, "You could leave." She said, "Where would I go?" I said, "Anywhere else." She said, "This place keeps me." Snow fell slow and quiet. I said, "Winter will be hard." She said, "Hard things teach courage." I laughed without joy. I said, "I forgot courage." She stepped closer again. She said, "You remember more than you think." Those words warmed me slightly. That evening we shared soup. I said, "You make this home." She said, "Only if you let me." I stayed quiet but nodded. I lay awake long after. The mountain stayed silent then. I felt less alone inside. That scared me most. Morning came with pale light. She said, "You did not sleep." I said, "Sleep avoids me." She said, "So does hope." I said, "Why stay here?" She said, "Because leaving costs money." I said, "Everything costs money." She said, "Yes, even trust." Those words echoed all day. I worked outside in cold. I thought about trust and price. I felt anger and need mix. At dinner I said, "Do you regret this?" She said, "Every choice hurts someone." I said, "Does it hurt you?" She said, "Yes," quietly. I looked at the fire. I said, "This home feels strange." She said, "Strange things can grow." I said, "Or die." She said, "We will see." That night the wind rested. The silence felt heavy but warm. I knew she watched me again. I knew I watched her too. Trust felt like thin ice. I stepped careful each day. She did the same with me. Our home stayed quiet but alive. The mountain listened and waited. I felt change coming soon. That thought scared me and warmed me at the same time inside my silent chest tonight again, slowly, deeply alone together, still breathing hope. I slipped near the old trail when the snow broke. My foot went wrong. Pain exploded through my leg. I shouted her name without thinking. "Are you hurt?" She yelled back. "I fell," I said. "I can't stand." She ran to me. Snow flew under her boots. Her face went pale when she saw blood. "Don't move," she said. "Please don't move." "I'm fine," I lied. "You're bleeding," she said. "You always lie." She pulled my arm over her shoulder. Her body shook as she lifted me. "You're heavy," she said, breathing hard. "Drop me," I said. "I can crawl." "No," she said. "I won't." We moved slowly. Every step hurt. My teeth shook from pain and cold. "Stay awake," she said. "Talk to me." "About what?" I asked. "Anything," she said. "Say my name." I said her name. My voice sounded weak. "Good," she said. "Again." I said it again. Her hands were warm on my arm. When we reached the house, she pushed the door open. She laid me on the floor. Her hands moved fast. "I need water," she said. "It's fine," I said. "Don't talk," she said. "Just breathe." She cleaned the blood. I watched her fingers shake. "Why are you shaking?" I asked. "Because you scared me," she said. "No one worries about me." I said. "I do," she said. Her words hit me harder than the pain. I looked away. "You shouldn't," I said. "Too late," she said. She tied the cloth tight. I hissed. "Sorry," she said. "It's okay," I said. She helped me to the bed. I felt small there. Useless. "You should sleep," she said. "Stay," I said. She froze. "Just until I sleep," I added. She sat on the floor. The lamp burned low. "You don't need to stay," I said. "I know," she said. Silence filled the room. Snow tapped the window. "Why did you come here?" she asked softly. "For money," I said. She nodded. "I didn't want this life," she said. "I know," I said. "My hands still shake," she said. "I saw," I said. "I thought you would die," she whispered. "I won't," I said. She pressed her face into her knees. Her shoulders moved. "Are you crying?" I asked. "No," she said. I closed my eyes. Then I heard it. Quiet. Broken. She cried like she was alone. "I'm sorry," I said. Her head snapped up. "For what?" she asked. "For making you scared," I said. "For thinking you didn't care," I said. She wiped her face fast. "I care," she said. "I just hide it." "So do I said. She looked at me then. Really looked. "You don't trust anyone," she said. "I learned not to," I said. "Can you try?" she asked. I swallowed. "I don't know how," I said. "Start small," she said. "How?" I asked. "Tell me something true," she said. "I'm afraid," I said. "Of the pain?" she asked. "Of needing you," I said. Her breath caught. "I'm afraid too," she said. "Of me?" I asked. "Of losing this," she said. The lamp flickered. My chest felt tight. "Stay," I said again. She nodded. "I'll stay," she said. I slept after that, but something inside me stayed awake. The snow crunched under my boots before I even saw him. My brother stood at the gate, smiling too easily. I froze. "You came," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I always come, little brother," he said, his smile sharp like a knife. "I heard you moved up here. Cold, quiet, perfect for thinking." I clenched my fists. "I am not here to talk," I said. My heart thumped. Something in his smile made me sick. He stepped closer. "You always run from money, from responsibility. But the past does not forget, does it?" I felt my stomach twist. "What are you talking about?" I asked. My voice shook. He laughed softly. "Your debts are still alive. Your promises still bind you. You think you escaped, but you didn't. Not really." I turned to the house. My wife stood by the door, silent, her hands folded in front of her, her eyes unreadable. My chest tightened. I could feel her calm, but I could not tell if she feared him or me. "Stay back," I said, trying to sound strong. "She has nothing to do with this." He shrugged. "Oh, I think she has everything to do with this. You are too blind to see it." My heart skipped. "Stop it. Don't twist her name," I said. I wanted to hit him. I wanted to yell. But my voice came out soft, weak. He leaned closer. "You don't know her like I do. She knows more than you think. You trust too easily." My hand shook. I trust her," I said. My words sounded small even to me. "Exactly," he said, grinning. "And that is why you will fail." I turned away. I walked inside. The warm air hit me. It should have comforted me. But my stomach churned. I could feel the storm coming, even before he spoke. I heard him behind the door. "Do you remember the old deal? The one you made when you were 16? I froze. Memories stabbed my mind. I don't want to talk about that," I said. "Oh, we will talk. All of it. Every secret. Every lie." I heard my wife shift. My eyes met hers. She said nothing. Her silence was heavier than his words. I wanted to trust her, but doubt crept in like cold wind. That night, I could not sleep. I paced the floor. I heard voices in the hall. I was not meant to hear them, but I crept close. "He still trusts her too much," my brother said, his voice sharp. "She knows everything about the plan. I can see it in her eyes. He will never see it coming." My chest stopped. My blood ran cold. My wife's voice answered softly, almost like a whisper. "I do not want him hurt. I cannot betray him fully." I pressed my hand to my mouth. Betrayal. My heart thumped. I stumbled back into my room. I sank onto the floor. I couldn't breathe. I shook my head. My mind raced. The marriage, it wasn't just about debt. It was bigger, darker, worse. I was part of something I could not understand fully. I remembered the promises I made. To myself, to my family, to her. They felt meaningless now. Everything I thought I knew was gone. The snow fell quietly outside. I could hear it against the roof. The mountain felt silent, but my mind was loud. I wanted to scream. I wanted to leave. But I was trapped by more than snow and walls. I was trapped by lies. I sank deeper into the chair. I thought of her eyes. Quiet, unreadable. I wanted to trust her. I needed to. But my brother's words burned inside me. What do I do? I whispered to the empty room. The wind outside answered nothing. I had to choose. Trust her, or protect myself first. I wanted to believe in her. I wanted to fight for her. But my gut said danger. My heart said love. I hated that my heart still spoke. Hours passed. The fire died. I heard the clock tick. Every second pressed against me. I felt powerless. The past had climbed up the mountain, and it had dragged me into darkness. By morning, I made a plan. I would not confront him yet. I would watch. I would wait. The mountain had taught me patience. I would use it now. But I also knew one thing for certain. I could not ignore her anymore. She was part of this. I had to understand her. I had to see what truth she held. My chest ached. My hands trembled. I realized I could lose everything. Not just money, not just safety, but her. And maybe, just maybe myself. The mountain looked cold outside the window. It had always been cold. But today it felt alive. Watching. Waiting. I swallowed my fear. I had to face this. One step at a time. I walked into the room, my hands trembling. "Why?" I said. My voice shook, but I tried to make it strong. They looked at me like I was crazy. My brother smiled. Too calm. Too sure. "Why what?" he said. I stepped closer. "You lied. Everything. You lied about the debts. You lied about the marriage." My wife stood behind him. Her eyes were wide, and I saw fear there. But I also saw something else. Guilt. Or truth she hid too long. I did not care. Not then. "You don't understand," she whispered. "I understand perfectly." I shouted. "I was a pawn. I was sold. And you knew it." My brother laughed. "Sold? You sound dramatic. It was a deal. Everyone knew." I felt my stomach twist. Everyone knew. Except me. "You made me look like a fool." "You should have listened," he said. Shrugging, I turned to my wife. And you? You knew. You smiled. You helped them trap me. Her lips trembled. I had no choice. No choice, I said. You always have a choice. You could have told me. You could have stopped this. She stepped back. You don't know what I went through. I tried. I laughed bitterly. Tried? You are part of the plan. You are part of the lie. I trusted you. I did not want this, she said softly. I wanted to help you, but You what? I cut her off. You wanted to save yourself. You wanted them to like you. You wanted to stay safe. That's all it ever was, isn't it? Her eyes filled with tears. I felt something hard inside me break. Not pain. Not love. Anger. I wanted to hit something. I wanted to scream. I walked here with hope, I said, my voice low, trembling. I thought maybe I could have peace. Maybe I could have you. But no. It was all fake. All lies. You think I wanted this, she said, voice shaking. I hated it. Every day. I wanted to tell you. But I was trapped. You were trapped. I laughed harshly. So was I. But at least I didn't hide it. At least I faced it. My brother stepped closer, trying to calm me. Enough. You don't know what's best. You never did. I know one thing, I said, pointing at him. I will never be powerless again. Never. I will not let anyone control me. Not you. Not her. Not anyone. He blinked, surprise flashing in his eyes. My wife looked at me. Confusion, fear, and guilt all at once. I trusted you, I whispered. And now I see. Trust is dangerous. Trust is for fools. And I am not a fool anymore. She tried to reach for my hand. Please. I did not want this. I swear. I stepped back. Your words don't change anything. Not now. The mountain wind blew through the cracked window. I felt the cold bite my face. It reminded me of every lonely day. Every night I thought I would die here. Every moment I hoped for warmth, for truth, for something real. And now it was gone. I am leaving, I said. I need air. I need space. I need to think. Alone. You can't just. My brother started. I didn't wait. I walked outside. Snow crunched under my boots. I felt anger burning inside. Betrayal. Humiliation. Rage. I had never felt so small and so large at the same time. I shouted into the wind. My voice echoed across the mountain. I will not be sold again. I will not be broken. I will fight. I will survive. The night fell, dark and silent. The house behind me seemed smaller now. I realized something. I could not go back. Not yet. Not to them. Not to her. Not to the lies. I thought about every touch, every word, every promise I had believed. They were fake. I felt tears, but I did not wipe them. I let them fall. Let them mix with snow. Let the cold remind me of the truth. I am alone. But I am alive. I made a promise to myself that night. I would never give my power to anyone again. I would survive. I would rise. I would make them regret it. And one day they would see me. Not the boy they trapped. Not the pawn. But me. Stronger. Smarter. Unstoppable. The wind howled louder. I felt it pushing me forward. I walked into the darkness. I walked into the storm. And I swore I would never be sold again. The cold wind hit me like a whip. I hugged my jacket tight. I can't stop now, I whispered to myself. My legs were weak. My stomach ached. Hunger was sharp. The snow cut my face. I walked on. At night, I made fire. I muttered, I will survive. I must survive. The flames danced. I thought about her. Her voice. Her tears. I shook my head. No, not now. I cannot think of that. I found a cave. Small. Dark. Safe. I laid down. My body hurt. My mind hurt more. I hate them, I said aloud. I hate the lies. I hate the pain. The echoes sounded like someone answering me back. I smiled bitterly. Good. Let it hear me. Let it feel my anger. Next day, I found water. My lips were cracked. I drank slowly. The mountain did not forgive weakness. I whispered, be strong. Be clever. Plan. Survive. Every step was heavy. Every sound made me tense. A branch snapped. I froze. Go away, dear. Go away. No one came. Only silence. I remembered my brother's laugh. The deal. The betrayal. I clenched my fists. I will not cry. I will not beg. I will return stronger. I will return ready. I imagined the moment. Them trembling. Me standing tall. It made my heart burn with heat I did not feel before. Night came. I wrapped in my jacket. I talked to myself. Tomorrow I move. Tomorrow I find food. Tomorrow I live. Sleep came slowly. My dreams were flames and snow. Faces I loved and hated mixed in my mind. I woke with a start. I breathed heavily. The mountain was still quiet. Quiet and cruel. I found berries. I ate them. Not enough. I hunted small animals. My hands shook. Blood on my fingers. I swallowed hard. Do not cry. Do not stop. You are alive. You are here. That is enough. I remembered her smile. I pushed it down. Anger is sharper than sadness now. Anger keeps me warm. Anger keeps me alive. One evening, snow fell fast. The wind roared. I whispered, I will not die here. I will not. My fingers froze. My feet slipped. I fell into the snow. Pain shot through me. I rolled. I stood. My teeth chattered. I laughed softly. I am alive. I am alive. I thought of revenge often. Not with shouting. Not with tears. With thought. Anger is not enough. I must be ready. I must wait. I must plan. Each day I survived, I grew sharper. Every hardship was teacher. Every pain was a lesson. Sometimes I spoke to the mountain. You will not break me. You will not own me. I will own my life. I felt small. But I also felt power. I could feel it in my hands, my legs, my chest. Strength I did not know I had. I slept under rocks. I made small fires. I ran from storms. I counted days. Hunger became normal. Cold became normal. Pain became normal. And with each, I became something new. Someone harder. Someone quiet. Someone ready. Finally, I made a plan. My return. My steps. I imagined the look in their eyes. My wife's eyes. Full of fear, full of regret. My brother's face. Full of anger and loss. I whispered, soon. Soon I return. And they will see. The mountain had taken me. But it had given me something too. Clarity. Calm. Fire hidden under cold. My hands no longer shook at hunger. My mind no longer trembled at fear. I was ready. I was alive. I was myself again. But not the old self. I had nothing to lose. I packed small things. Left marks to find my way back. I whispered to the wind. Tell her I am coming. Tell them I am coming. My voice was low, calm. Angry. Determined. I walked out of the cave. Snow crunched under my feet. My shadow stretched long. I smiled. Not a warm smile. A sharp one. A smile of someone who will not break again. The mountain watched me. I watched it back. I did not fear it anymore. I had learned patience. I had learned strength. I had learned silence. And soon it would learn fear. I stayed in the shadows and waited. I did not rush. I did not yell. I watched. My brother smiled, thinking he was safe. The money he stole vanished. His friends left him one by one. I saw everything. You think you are safe now? I said quietly when I finally walked in. He froze. His face went pale. I don't know what you mean, he stammered. I laughed softly, almost a whisper. You lost everything. Every friend, every ally. Do you feel it yet? He looked down at his hands. Please, please don't do this to me. I crossed the room slowly. My eyes never left him. Do what? I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to watch you fall. My wife stood behind the door. I saw her eyes widen. She didn't move. I could tell she wanted to help him. But she stayed. She always stayed. You can't win, brother, I said, my voice calm but cold. Not this time. You lied, you cheated, and now. I paused. Now it's over. He shook his head. I can fix it. I can bring back the money. Fix it. I asked. You already broke it. You broke trust. You broke me. He started to cry, a small, weak sound. I was wrong. I didn't mean. I stopped him with a hand gesture. Stop. Your words mean nothing. Your actions already speak. My wife's voice came next. Please, he is your brother. Don't ruin him completely. I looked at her carefully. She was trembling. I'm not trying to ruin him. I'm making him see. See what it feels like to lose everything. See what it feels like to be powerless. She lowered her eyes. I could feel her sadness. I could feel her regret. She knew too well what this felt like. I never thought you would come back like this, my brother said. I thought I had control. I thought I was the stronger one. You thought wrong, I said, stepping closer. My shadow fell over him. Power is not about money or friends. Power is about knowing who you are. And I know myself now. He tried to speak, but no words came. He opened his mouth and closed it again. I saw a flicker in my wife's eyes. Something she tried to hide. Fear, pain, regret, all mixed. That scared me more than his begging ever could. You feel it, don't you? I said softly. That chill inside, that fear you planted in others, that same fear is yours now. My brother's knees hit the floor. I am sorry. I swear. Please forgive me. I shook my head. Forgiveness is not mine to give yet. You must earn it. First, you must live with what you did. I looked at my wife. She stepped forward slowly. He is sorry. He doesn't deserve this. Maybe, I said, but I do not decide for him. I only see. The mountain wind pressed against the windows. The cold filled the room. My brother shivered. My wife's hair moved with the draft. I remembered the nights I spent alone, the nights I feared losing everything. I felt the power of surviving. You see, brother, I said, voice low. The mountain changes people. It changes you. It changes me. It taught me patience. It taught me strength. And it taught me what happens when lies fall apart. He looked up, tears in his eyes. I don't want to die. I don't want to lose more. You won't die today, I said, but you will remember this. Every day, every night. You will remember power is not in hands that cheat or steal. It is in hands that endure, hands that rise when others fall. He bowed his head. I could see him breaking from inside, not physically, but in the way I had broken years ago. I turned to my wife. Her lips trembled. You've changed, she whispered. I had to, I said. If I stayed weak, they would destroy me. They would destroy us. We stayed there for a long time. Silence filled the room. My brother cried quietly. My wife's tears fell slowly. I felt a strange emptiness. Power was mine, but it felt colder than I expected. I am done, I said finally. I will not hurt him more, but I will not forget. The sun began to rise. Light spilled into the room, weak but honest. The mountain watched us. It had seen everything, and now it knew I had survived. I walked outside. The wind hit my face. Cold, strong, cleansing. I breathed deeply. I was no longer afraid, no longer weak. The mountain had given me strength, and I was ready for what came next. I walked slowly into the empty house. Snow pressed against the windows. Silence was heavy. I felt the weight of everything I had done. She stood in the corner, her eyes red. She did not move. I didn't want this, she whispered. I didn't want to hurt you. I stared at her. My hands were shaking. Then why? I asked. Why did you lie? Why did you hide it? Her lips trembled. I was scared. I had no choice. They would have killed me or worse. I laughed softly, bitter. No choice. You still chose. You chose me to pay the price. I know, she said. I know. I can't take it back. I never wanted you to suffer. I never. Her voice broke. I looked away. The wind outside whistled like a warning. My heart thumped in my chest. I remembered the nights I cried alone. I remembered the hunger, the cold, the betrayal, all of it. You made me weak, I said. You made me trust. And I paid for it. She stepped closer. I'm sorry. I was trapped. Please believe me. I swallowed hard. Believe you. I laughed dry. I almost destroyed everything because of you. I know, she said again, and I would take it all back. But I can't. Only, I can tell you the truth now. Please listen. I stayed quiet. My mind raced. My hands wanted to strike, but I stopped. I wanted revenge, but my anger felt small. Empty. I was afraid of my family, she said. They forced me. I pretended. I lied to survive. I didn't plan for this. I never planned for you to suffer. I stared at her. Her words hit like snow falling hard. Cold. Sharp. Painful. Yet, I felt something strange. A flicker. Why should I forgive you? I said quietly. Why should I care about your fear? Because, she said softly, I am afraid of losing you forever. Because I care. Because I want to make it right. I can't undo the past, but I can try. I felt my chest tighten. The mountain air made it worse. My mind fought itself. Part of me wanted to scream. Part of me wanted to cry. I survived, I whispered. I survived because I had to. But forgiving is harder than surviving. Her hand brushed mine. I flinched. She did not pull away. I don't ask for love. I just ask for a chance to prove I am not your enemy. I closed my eyes. My memories flashed. The cold nights. The hunger. The lies. The tears. Every scar. Every wound. All of it. I don't know, I said finally. I don't know if I can forgive. But I also don't want to hate forever. Her eyes glimmered. That is enough. That is all I ask. I took a deep breath. I could feel the snow crunch under my boots. The silence was loud. It was peaceful. Strange, but peaceful. You have changed me, I said slowly. Not in the way you think. You made me see who I really am and who I want to be. She nodded. I want to see it too. I want to be better. With you. Even if it is hard. I looked at her. I felt something melt inside me. Something small. A warmth. A hope. I cannot promise love yet, I said. But maybe we can start again. Slowly. She smiled faintly. Tears on her cheeks. I will wait. I can wait. I stepped outside. The mountain was quiet. The sun touched the snow. I could see the village far below. Life felt possible again. Not perfect. Not easy. But possible. I thought of the past. Of all the revenge I had planned. It all seemed so meaningless now. Karma did its work quietly. People fell because of themselves, not me. I whispered to the wind. I am done with anger. I am done with destruction. I choose to survive, to live, to become me. The snow fell gently on my shoulders. Cold, yes, but cleansing. I felt light. I felt free. And for the first time in years, I did not feel alone. The sun touched the peak when I packed my bag. I did not look back. The mountain was silent, cold, and still. I felt nothing at first. Then, slowly, I felt air fill my chest like freedom. I whispered to myself, I am done. I saw her face one last time. She was crying quietly. Please stay, she said. I shook my head. I cannot, I said. My voice felt empty. I wanted to say more. I wanted to scream. I wanted to beg. I held my tongue. She stepped closer. I was wrong. I lied. I wanted to protect you. I laughed bitterly. Protect me? You helped destroy me. My hand shook. Do you know what I went through? She did not answer. She only looked down. I could see the shame in her eyes. I wanted to hate her, but the hate was gone. I only felt tired. I remembered the nights I sat alone. Cold wind on my face. Hunger in my stomach. Fear in my heart. I remembered the anger, the betrayal, the silence. And I remembered the small moments, too. Her hands cooking for me. Her quiet tears. The fire that kept me warm. The letters she never sent but kept. I realized she was never my enemy. The world had trapped her, as it trapped me. I said, I forgive you maybe, but I cannot stay. Not now. She reached for my hand. I let her hold it for a moment. You will be safe, she whispered. I nodded. I wanted to believe her, but safety was mine to find alone. I let go. My hand fell to my side. I walked down the mountain path slowly. Each step felt heavy, yet lighter than ever. I looked at the rocks, the snow, the trees. Each one told me a story. Each one reminded me that I survived. I survived everything. A small bird flew past me. I smiled. I remembered the first winter I came here. I had seen a bird then too. It was tiny, alone. I had thought it would die, but it survived. Like me. I breathed in the cold morning air. I breathed out pain. I breathed in strength. I breathed out fear. The valley opened below me. I could see the river, the village, the road. The world continued without me. And I could finally continue too. I met a traveler along the path. "The mountain is hard," he said. I smiled. "Yes, but it lets go when you are ready." He nodded, but he did not understand. I did not expect him to. Only I understood. The forest grew thicker. I pushed through the branches, the snow crunching under my boots. My hands hurt, my legs ached, but I did not stop. My past was behind me. My future waited. I thought about love. It had hurt me, yes. It had broken me into pieces. But it also taught me hope. I could love again. I could live again. The mountain taught me this. Pain and life walked together. I passed the last hill. The sun rose higher. I did not look back. No regret. No tears left to shed. Only the memory of all I survived. I whispered one last time. I am free. Freedom was strange. Heavy, yet light. Bitter, yet sweet. I carried scars, but I carried strength too. The mountain was behind me. The world waited ahead. I walked faster. The wind pushed at my back like a hand guiding me. I smiled. The future was mine. Mine to shape, mine to fight for. Some endings do not need forgiveness. They need courage. They need choice. They need letting go. And today I let go. I would not look back. I would not turn. I would only walk forward. The mountain had tested me. The mountain had freed me. And I walked into the new day, fully alive.